pretending I know what I'm doing. Good morning. Today is day 84. So, guess what? Okay, use tissue paper. What do I want to do with tissue paper? I don't even know. Let me think about it and I will come back with whatever we're going to use. Hopefully, or at least some of it. All right, hang on. Here's what I decided after thinking about it for a second. I was thinking, well, if I get out tissue paper, I'm probably going to create a page or something with it. I was thinking, what do I already have available that I've been working on in the project that we could just add tissue paper to instead of something different? And I thought, I was working on these yesterday and I said they are not finished and we'll do more to them. So I thought, well, these are perfect. So we're going to add tissue paper to these. But before we do that, I want to push back this color a little bit with some gesso, or you could use white paint or colors of paint if you want to. And then we'll come back with our tissue paper and we'll see what we can do with that. I'll put some gesso out and it's got some little crusty things coming off, but that's all right. They'll just add a little bit of character if they stick on there. Okay, so I have these covered a little bit. So I'm going to dry these. All right, so I put a second coat with a paintbrush instead of a card, just so that it would have a little bit more on there. I'm liking them a little better. And I was going to put some washi tape on the folds here, but then I thought, I don't really want washi tape. I was thinking I want masking tape. I love masking tape. I love the way it looks. So we're going to put masking tape on the edges here. Just going to lay it down the center like that. Okay, I have all the masking tape on the edges. And yes, the inside has the fold. And I may go ahead and add another piece right here. I don't know. We'll see. I'm not worried about the inside right now. I just want to do the outside. Okay, so now what I want to do, I don't know what I want to do, but I know I want to use tissue paper. These are tissue papers I got from Jerry's Artorama about 4 years ago. And it is by Spectra Art Tissue. And they have 3 sets that I saw. One is cool colors, one is warm colors, and one is a variety pack. I pulled out these 3 colors to work with this piece here. I'm just going to cut some shapes. Just quickly, pretending I know what I'm doing. Just cut different little shapes for some petals. And they don't have to be perfectly matchy-matchy. I don't like mine matchy-matchy. So just do what you gotta do to make yourself happy and cut your shapes out. Okay, I cut a little shape of orange and I'm gonna put that down first. I have my petals on. Trim off the edges of anything that's overlapping. I want to see if the matte medium will do what I want it to do, so let's go ahead and do the yellow first, and the next one we'll try the water. We'll do the water on top. So I am getting some color there, and let's go ahead and do the petals. I like that. I like that a lot, actually. There's bleeding all around where I put the petals, and I didn't spread it out. I let it stay a petal shape. I put on a piece of bluish color for the stem already. I just glued it down. But here's what I want to do next. I'm been thinking about this, and I should go research it, but you know, this is more fun actually. What I want to do is I'm going to test this paper out on the next card. See, I want to use my tissue paper on here. I want to actually glue it on my projects. But I'm thinking that I might get better results if I don't glue it down and I just use it as a watercolor paper. And the reason I got to thinking about this is because I have these watercolors that are on paper. I forget what they're called. Anyway, it's a sheet of paper. It's like several colors in a booklet, and you just take your brush and you pick up the paint color and put it down. And I thought, what if these worked similar to that? So we're going to try that on the next one. Okay, for this one, I'm going to use some blues, these 3 colors of blue, and this green. And I'm just going to cut a few circles. So for this, I'm going to wet my brush. Oh yeah, it's activating big time. And we're going to put the stems down. I'm gonna let them sit for a second and then we'll be back. All right, let's see what we've got. They're dryish, but it's not completely dry. This guy's coming up, so let's remove him. I can still use that piece. Oh, look. That's cool. Not sure it's what I was going for. I mean, the look I was going for, but the process works. Well, what I was thinking about did work. There you go. This is bubbled because the piece that I glued down probably didn't have glue underneath here, so it'll go away. I'm going to dry this a little more and think about the pieces I have left, and see if I want to actually glue them down now. Okay, I have decided that I do want to glue down my pieces. I think this would be a really cool technique to make backgrounds or to make flowers or whatever you want to make on regular like watercolor paper or something like that, but on what I'm using, I don't love this as much as I do with this glued down. But what I am going to do is I'm going to offset these little pieces so that you can tell that there's something below it like that. And I am going back to my matte medium to glue these down. Okay, this is drying still, but I went and got the watercolor paper, and I kept wanting to call it Pantone because I knew it started with a P, but I knew Pantone wasn't right. So it's Peerless, and it comes in sheets like this. There's a color, and on the back it tells you the color that it is, brilliant yellow. There's self-blending colors, and you just take your paintbrush and you wet it and you get your color. See, like what I did right here, you get your color off of there, and then you use it on your paper. And this is what triggered me to think that maybe it would work similar. Okay, here's what I'm going to use on this one, and I'm going to overlap the oranges here, and I'm just going to water these down. I'm going to set these aside and let them be working for a while. Okay, here's the next one. I cut two big pieces of a pink and a fuchsia and this green stem looking thing. And then I have this yellow piece here also that I was thinking of adding in, but I don't know until I put my color down. That's what this one looks like. Here's what I did for this one. I just went ahead and sealed on the paper. And then on this one, I went ahead and added the yellow in the center, and we got a little bit of a reddish look, which I kind of expected. It's really cute. I like it. So these are going to dry for a little while, and I'll come back and show you those when we're done. I'm going to go grab a piece of watercolor paper, and I want to see what these guys can do on watercolor paper without any interference. Here's what I pulled out. I pulled out a piece of watercolor paper. I don't know the weight. I didn't check that, but it doesn't really matter. It's watercolor paper. We're just testing to see what happens. This is just mixed media paper, and I stamped a bird image on it with Stays On, which is a permanent ink. I want to see what this stuff will do on top of an image like this. Let's do the watercolor paper first. I want to put down these greens and blues. Now, we're just going to spray this with a water bottle and see what happens. And I'm going to get another sheet of paper, like my drop paper, to press on this so that I can get up any color that's on this side too. You can see the color pooling down here. So I'm going to put down this paper and see what kind of color. Ooh, look at the color just coming out of there. Wow. Wow, how pretty. But look at that color down here. Look at that. Isn't that pretty? It brought this whole blue up. So it didn't sit on the watercolor paper as well as I thought it would. Let's lift this up and see what it's doing. So let's put that on there. Now, if I left it on here, it would have done a really good job. Because see, the green is working really well. I didn't have the blue on there very well, evidently, but it will work. It's just that I didn't have the papers down there enough. This is even wet. So I didn't soak it enough, I guess. Maybe I should soak the paper first, then put my paper down. Let's try that. I'm loving the mixed media look though. I mean, look at that. Look at that. That's just so pretty. Okay, I'm standing here for a second, so I want to show you guys real quick before I move this. I took all the papers off of this mixed media paper, and the mixed media paper is my favorite. That is just beautiful. I love it. And I didn't cover this area very well, but you can see the kind of background color you can get. It's just gorgeous. I took all the papers off and I put it on top of this junk paper that I have over there. It's like a drop paper, penny papers that you put all your excess on. And I'm let it sit on that and see what colors will bleed off after it dries naturally. Moving this to the side to dry naturally, and I'm going to put some more papers on this one, fill in those spaces. I'm going to spritz it first, put the papers on, and then let it dry. But in the meantime, while that's all drying, I'm going to go get another piece of watercolor paper, and we're going to spritz it and put down paper and try it on camera. And we're also going to try this one too. So I will be back after all that's done. But I wanted to tell you what I was doing with these extra papers here. Okay, real quick, that's what I did. Filled in. You can see the colors moving. I think I love this stuff. All right, I'll be back in a second. All right, this is the mixed media paper that I put the stamp on, and this is the watercolor paper. Okay, I'm going to spritz this in advance. Okay, I'm going to let these sit for a while. So I'll be back as soon as I get through with some stuff downstairs and give this time to dry naturally on its own and just see what it does on its own. Okay, I'm back. These are still wet because I really wet them down. So let's put this down here so that as I pull these papers off, I can lay them on here. So let's just pull these up and see what we have. Okay. Well, there we have our background. They do a beautiful job. I think this is really fun. I love working with these. I also dabbed up excess before I left earlier onto my index card. And then this one is the one I dabbed up from the other side. Let's put down the papers from this one on here. Okay, this is still real wet, but that's the watercolor paper. Let me pull these together here. So, mixed media, watercolor. Both did a great job. I prefer the mixed media, but that's really cool. Let me bring back the papers that we did before we did these backgrounds. This is the original mixed media paper we did, which I love, so I've got a good background for that one. And then this is the other watercolor paper, and I left some pieces laying on there, hoping it would saturate some more, and it did. So this is a cool watercolor paper. This is really pretty. I love this one. Okay, I wet this down. I think I would like to just glue this down, and I may, but I have another piece of paper. I'm going to see what kind of color I can get. This is just regular printer paper. So we got some color up from that. And if we pull these up, we got some color. And this was just thrown over there with some excess paint thrown on it. And now I think it's really pretty. Alright, so I've taken all the leftover pieces that I had laying on my table that we used in this project and threw them on this paper, and I sealed them down with Liquitex matte medium, this stuff right here. Later on we'll make something out of this, but right now it's just going to be something sitting around until use comes of it. And this is another piece like that, and I decided I didn't want to cover. I was going to cover this with these papers here. I decided not to because I really love this area down here, especially at the bottom. So I'm leaving it because something can be done to make this more appealing to me. And I had a little bit left over. I put it on a tag. We have an index card that I threw the extra liquid on to make color. And then there's this one. And then we have two watercolor papers that we played with. And this one. Love this one. And then we have two mixed media papers that we played with. This one here I really love. And this one here where I had the stamp on it. And it does well over stamps, so that's great. So that's the extra stuff we did. And then today, for the actual prompt to use tissue paper, we added more to our file folders that we had worked on yesterday. And so that's what these look like. And these are not done. They're still not done. There's more I want to do to them, but I'm not going to do it today because I'm done today. Okay, so I will see you tomorrow for day 85, and hopefully another prompt that we pull will maybe lead us to do something more with these, because I'd really like to finish these up before the project's over. All right, I'll see you tomorrow, guys. Have a great whatever it is. Bye-bye.